When you think of breathtaking architecture and deep religious history, your mind probably goes to Europe. But for this week's Hidden History, I found a stunning sanctuary that's right in our own backyard. Let's step inside the Conewago Chapel in Adams County. Truly, not since a trip to Vatican City 25 years ago has a church left me standing in awe the way the Conewago Chapel did. Known better as the Basilica of the Sacred Heart of Jesus, built here in Conewago Township in the late 1780s, with a surrounding cemetery that not only predates this church, but also the birth of our nation. This isn't just a parish. Historians call it a mother church and a cornerstone of Catholic history in Pennsylvania.
Without Sacred Heart, there wouldn't be, I don't think there would be Catholics around here. I mean, not of any significance, not as many as there are now.
Father Dwight Schleline oversaw a $2 million renovation of Sacred Heart about 5 years ago, restoring the front of this church to more of what it looked like over 2 centuries ago.
I'm sitting in the part of the church that was built in 1787. There was a church, a Conewago Chapel from 1741. It probably wasn't on this spot, but that would have just been a log cabin that was eventually destroyed because it was basically illegal to have an actual church.
Stones at the front of the church are also original, brought in from a quarry in East Berlin in the late 1780s, as Sacred Heart is in fact the oldest Catholic church built of stone in the country. In 1962, Pope John XXIII elevated this church to a minor basilica, a sign of its immense historical and architectural impact.
They're marking the fact that this was the mother church of so much of this region.
Some of the original paintings by Bavarian muralist Franz Stecker remain here, a man who died in his 30s after completing his work at this chapel, a lot of which features depictions of the Holy Trinity and the Heart of Jesus.
That's why it's called the Basilica of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. That's what is most prominent in here. And people come here knowing that it's a refuge. It's a refuge, and like this has been a refuge from day one.
And nearly 2.5 centuries later, that hasn't changed. It's a piece of national history and also a peaceful escape. So I'm really only scratching the surface when it comes to the history of the Conewago Chapel. Father Dwight told me about exorcisms performed by former priests on those very grounds, Revolutionary soldiers buried in the surrounding cemetery I just showed you, and also plans for a future museum filled with leftover artifacts from the 1700s and 1800s. The Basilica is open to visitors. I've put more information about it on fox43.com.